Greetings, Marsh here, and welcome to episode 131 of my modded Factorio playthrough. In this episode, we're going to make white circuits, and some things made from white circuits, such as modular armor and night vision. Enjoy. First, we need to make these circuit boards, and let's try to line this up with everything else here. So, like right here. Shallow water. One more space because I think that's kind of how it was done up here as well. Okay, that's good for the first setup. And the second one, which slots in perfectly, except we got some shallow water again. There's more. Where? Ah. Let's clear out some space here. Then we got the next setup, which we need two of. And let's see. It's about just as big. Oh no, we're out of landfill. I don't think we have any hope of manufacturing more. We do have some stone on hand, but we don't have enough. So it's time for this next setup. And it is different, so we'll leave a few gaps in here. Like 2. Out of nanobots. Sigh. One personal robots. In due time, I suppose. So we got one more to build. Right here. Alright. I think most everything is placed. So we need to get a train over here to deliver our ferric chloride. And that could honestly go anywhere. But I don't know if I want to put a train station all the way up in here, because I kind of want to leave this space available for these dynamic train stations. So I'm wondering if instead I should just kind of make a throwaway station over here somewhere that picks up the resources. We can kind of copy the station's general layout, get an idea of where we want to put it. Don't quite have the resources to build all of this, but that's okay. We can take the train back to get back faster. So it can be something like this, and it can swing back in. We'll call this ferric chloride unload. Let's see, let's add a station. Ferric chloride load. Full cargo. Ferric chloride unload. Empty cargo. Seems pretty good. Although I kind of don't want to go all the way back to the bus, so I'm just going to steal some sheet coils. It is kind of annoying. You can't just pick your plates off of anywhere you want. You kind of have to chop them up first, but ideally you'd have a network where you wouldn't have to worry about that, where you'd have like robots delivering you stuff and that kind of thing. So we need some storage tanks. And the pumps. Alright, get back here. I want to go up there again. And jump on. Okay. Let's get unloading. And there it goes. Well, we can just move this along, although it might help because of the distance. It's not that far of a distance, but hey, you never know. Might help just to have a pump right here. Just to help it along. We'll just go in a straight line and see if this ends up blocking anything over time. And here we are. So we need to connect all of these together. Did something get disconnected here? Oh, there's no power on the pump. Well, that's easily solved. And there we go. And ferric chloride is making its way in. So now we just need to hook up all these resources. Oh, I just realized that this setup isn't quite right because we need to get the phenolic boards in here first. We could potentially make that happen with a little bit of jank here because we need 15 per second. And it's 15, 15, 15. We're actually only producing 7.5 on this particular group of machines since there's 2 pairs of them. Which means that the copper plates and the tin plates can be on half of a belt. And then the phenolic boards can be on the other half. So I kind of like how this setup is already. And I don't want to be running a belt in the middle and like shooting it to the side here. So if we did that, they would come in on the near side and these would insert on the far side. So we would have half of the belt for copper plates, which is fine. And then the other half, well, we'd have 2 halves for phenolic boards, which would be fine. And then that would work. And then this output would just go forward. And these are dummy belts right there. Well, let's see what we can do with this then. See, that's a little tricky. But we can do something like this. Then the boards make it down here. Get picked up. So we kind of need to do the same thing a couple of times. Having these 2 sets of belts here is kind of messy. If we can do something like this, and then set these to the near side, which might make for easier belts. Not necessarily a squarer design, but running 2 belts down when we really only need to run 1 is kind of unnecessary. So there's just not much space in here for this. Something like that. So it's 1 belt. Then it comes in, and then kind of gets distributed there. So it's not super symmetrical, but it works. And this last belt can just go straight down since these boards aren't used anywhere else. Okay, it's hooked up. Let's see what this can very briefly do. Seems like the copper machines up here are having no problems keeping up, which makes me think that the tin machines are going to be balanced as well. Well, it's mostly green. Of course, machines are all going to start clogging up at the top, but it looks like it's working alright if resources had the opportunity to equalize. Well, the output would come up here. This might be something that has to loop around, because the resources might have to go both directions. Another way to prevent the loop around is just to put the train stations on the other side here, but there's all this empty space here, so it's probably worth having a few extra used belts here in order to have all the train stations nice and compact. And there's silverware. For that one anyway. Making the wafers. And then out come the transistors. Looking good. And that gets filtered in there. Okay, we're getting pretty close here. Let's hook up the output first. So when we hook up the last thing, which is solder, and everything fires up, we can see it in all its glory. So the output in this case is right here. And then we'll go back on that other belt right there. And we'll get this all combined onto this one belt and just send it back to the beginning, because there'll be a train station there for it. There we go, that should be the last hookup. So I think it's time to find out if all of this works. So let's hook it up. And let's see what we got. Let's see, this one still isn't set correctly. There we go, probably means the other one isn't set either. Set to the correct side. Well, it's a flurry of inserters. And the important thing to look at is this section right here, which is where all the actual circuit boards are being made. All the other components are supportive of this, so as long as this one is running at full speed, it must mean all of the other sides are too. We can look at this setup. And it's chugging through. It's got a bit of a buffer to work through before it'll start firing up to full speed, but looks great. It's so much bigger than how we had it before. But, oh, I see, we got some weirdness going on here. The belts aren't pointed the right direction. Oh, there we go. Well, that'll fill up pretty quick then. And with that, we have our circuits. Now we still need to hook it up to a train and whatnot. But at least for now, we can pick them up and use them. And now it's time to figure out what stuff we want to research that was locked behind it. Now, there's a lot of stuff that was locked behind white circuits, but we probably don't want to research a bunch of stuff right now. In part because it's just going to consume more resources using this inefficient ore sorting methods here, that the very next thing we're going to do after this is build a new science setup and also expand that to military science. So do we really want to spend a bunch of time researching stuff when we're just about to upgrade the factory and make it better at researching stuff? Probably not. Plus, not to mention that a lot of the new things that we can make with blue circuits, we would probably want to put on the bus, so we'd just be doing a bunch of handcrafting with them. So it's kind of like you have to curb your enthusiasm for a little bit and use them at the proper time. But we can do a little bit of research on things which would be exceptionally useful that we can use right now. And that's kind of how I'm looking at, like, if there's something we can use right now, then fine, we'll research it so we can start hand building them to make our setups better. But if we don't need it right now, we'll just hold off. But there are some things we can use right now. Now, of course, electronics assembling machines, the second tier, which would have went a lot faster, which we need electronic circuit boards for. We might as well actually just grab that research, because if I recall, you can do a lot of science stuff with them, right? Yeah. There are a significant element of these science constructions, so we will need them. And otherwise, it's stuff we can use, so we'll grab that. What about regular assemblers? No. Interesting, even though it doesn't require blue science, it's locked behind the electric engine, which does require blue science. And, you know, that's a little far away. I mean, we could ramrod our way there if we wanted to, but that's okay, we can skip that. There's a couple of useful things we can do. Like vehicle belt immunity. That would be super useful. So our cars aren't being bumped around all the time. Now we will have to kind of retrofit all the various machines with the proper batteries and solar panels and whatnot to power that. But sure, we'll grab it. It's useful. And now that we have both silver and electronic circuits, we can do the second tier of solar panels for vehicles. So the first tier puts out 50 watts. The second one does 80. So sure, we'll probably have to handcraft a few of those, but we probably wouldn't put vehicle equipment on the bus anyway. There's a couple other very useful things, like we could do mining productivity, which would be useful. Get 10% more anything out of our burners. That would especially be useful for bobmonium. But we'll hit that last, because we can do modular armor. Now, I imagine if we compare the resistances, it's going to be not quite as good as the gunmetal armor we have now. But we wouldn't be using this for combat. We'd be using this for running around our base. And, you know, we could power it up with shields and whatnot, but it's technically better. So we want to hit that. You know, it just requires those white circuits and the heavy armor. But we can go into the portable solar panels for our armor. That's just the tier 1. And we can make tier 2. So we might as well. So we'll hit that. We're running out of spaces of stuff to research here. But we'll need personal batteries as well for the armor. So grab that. And since that queue is full, I guess I'll go running around and clear out my inventory and whatnot, waiting for some spaces to open up on the queue. Actually, might not take that long, because it looks like it's running fairly quickly. Let's see. Why aren't these machines going, though? Oh, it seems like the near and far isn't set correctly on these guys. I believe this one should be on this side. So that should load them up a little better. Does that flaw exist on this side as well? Looks like it. Looking good. So that was Electronics Assembler 2. It just uses steel components instead of iron. And its crafting speed is significantly faster. Rather than a crafting speed of 1, it's 2.25 compared to a 0.75 of our assembling machine. So we're probably going to be inserter limited there, because that is going to be very fast. Okay, that was the immunity equipment for vehicles. Probably want to wait a while to set that up until we've got everything else good to go. Let's grab a couple of stacks of these, because I don't want to have to come back here and get more. Okay, and that's for tier 2 solar panels for vehicles, so we have a couple more spots here. Well, we can grab the belt immunity equipment for our character as well, which will be very nice to have. And finally, the thing that I'm sure that many of you will appreciate, and believe it or not, even I will appreciate having, night vision, which we can also make with our electronic circuits. So the nights will not be quite as scary and or boring anymore. So we definitely want to grab that. That pretty much makes the whole set worth it. Alright, we almost got all of our stuff researched here. So let's start building some of it. Let's hit that modular armor. In certain circumstances, it's better than the gunmetal armor, and in others, it's less. In general, though, it seems inferior. But nonetheless, let's hit it. And boom. Now we have 10 free slots, which is always nice. I guess we'll keep this gunmetal armor on hand for any time when we're knowingly going in to fight biters. So now we have a couple slots to use here. We only have 2 pieces of equipment. It's hard to say exactly how long we'll be able to power both of them, but let's do some calculations here. First, we'll grab that night vision. And plop that in there. So we can figure this out where the consumption is 10 kilowatts. So we can calculate that 10 kilowatts times 60 seconds times 15 minutes means that it's 9,000 kilojoules or 9 megajoules to power this for one night. And it doesn't have to run during the daytime, so it's just this. So we need 9 megajoules worth of battery power, and one of them holds 20. So that should be more than enough. So let's grab some batteries here. And we'll plop that personal battery in here. I'm not sure where we want it. Seems good to put it right there. And then we need to power that, but since the night vision only works during the night and during the daytime, we could just charge it. We know we need 10 kilowatts of solar panel. And we'll actually get 45 with the Mark IIs here. So that means we probably have plenty of space for the belt immunity, but it is interesting to note that the belt immunity uses way more power, but I've noticed that we're running out of daytime. So we probably want to hurry up and get a solar panel attached. So we will have night vision when the sun goes down. So let's grab a stack of silver and probably a stack of glass. And let's make some of these. And there we go, we're charging those batteries. This only takes 1 square, so we can just put that wherever. We'll just have to see if we can power that through the night. It seems like these batteries hold quite a bit of power, but I kind of want to throw as many of these in here as we can, just to get the battery charged as much as possible. Then we can worry about finding out what the perfect ratio of batteries to solar panels is. I wonder if the solar calculator will work for that. It doesn't look like it. Okay, that thing's getting full. Looks pretty good, but I can show you the belt immunity, where we're standing on something and we're not moving. It looks like we're still charging, so that's enough solar panels to charge that. But now, belts are nothing to fear. Okay, so what's the ratio of batteries to solar panels here? Well, one battery is 20 megajoules. So we'll turn that into 20,000 to make it kilojoules. And that has to be done over 15 minutes. And then there's 60 seconds in that, which means we need an average of 22 kilowatts to charge a battery over the day, if that makes sense. Well, we'll check that math in a second, because night vision's about to turn on. Oh, how nice. We can see So there's several tiers of night vision here that you can unlock, and they get progressively better. But the difference is color. So you see how it's very washed out, and it's basically black and white for the areas where we don't have light. And you can see what the flashlight is doing where it's illuminating it. So when you come over here, it's fully in color because there's already lights there covering that. So the better night vision just makes your vision look better. So if we had the final tier of night vision, it would be daytime. It would look like daytime all the time, even if it's dark. So that's kind of how that works. Ah, fantastic, isn't it? Okay, so if this calculation is correct, let's go the other direction and say we've got 45 kilowatts times 60 seconds times 15 minutes, and that'll produce 40,000 kilojoules, or let's say 40 megajoules. And that's basically 2 batteries. So that's interesting. Ah, I can see. I was about to say, no random crashing into random things, but I think we all know that that random crashing is going to continue. See, I don't even know where I'm going, because I'm not used to seeing all this stuff. So, where's the bus? Okay, so we needed some more batteries to put in here. Looks like the inventory is going to be mostly batteries. It's going to be 2 batteries per solar panel. So we can do something like that, where it's 2 batteries per solar panel. And then on this last space, we can put the belt immunity stuff. But that's assuming that this will work properly, so we should probably test it for a day and make sure that it charges up properly before nighttime hits. And if it does, we can take out that solar panel and plop in belt immunity. Well, that means we don't need to carry around flares anymore. I mean, I guess flares would be useful for when night vision randomly disappears, but that should not occur much anymore. Aww. That's funny how the night vision turns back on because the sun just barely started to rise. But it hasn't risen enough to where night vision turns off. And it's balanced out again. We'll have to see how fast these batteries charge up with this solar panel ratio here. Seems like it's going up pretty fast, but I think we have one more solar panel than is necessary. So I would expect this to get fully filled up sometime in the afternoon before the sun goes down. Alright, well, we're looking pretty good here. And the next step here is to build another setup somewhere else out there in the frontier, this time handling our science. But that's going to have to wait till the next episode. Thanks for watching, and I will see you later.